Tomorrow, predictions week, or as Brew calls it, projections week. He's gone out on his own.
Me.
Okay.
Just for me.
AFC and NFC North. Tune in 3 o'clock, actually 3:15 on this one.
Yeah,
it's going to be excellent.
Eastern.
Afternoon headlines sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Aaron Rodgers. Brew, here's the numbers. These are Aaron Rodgers' last 2 season openers, both L's. Passing yards, I said over 300, not even over 200 there. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Bad passer rating. So how important is a hot start for Rodgers and the Jets? They obviously play the Bills on Monday night.
Well, I'm not saying game one. I'm just saying the first few weeks of the season, it is very important that they have a great start. Because I've been talking about the vibes. We all know the vibes are great. You can mock me all you want, but they're great. We all agree. They're not only great in the locker room and with Aaron Rodgers, they are great in the New York media, right? I mean, the media is all in love with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Coach knows they can turn on you quickly, all right? And if they start poorly, the vibes everywhere will be. Well, here's what I see. I think they'll split, whether they beat Buffalo, lose to them, I think they'll split the first 2. So if they can get one of the first 2 against Buffalo or Dallas, they beat New England, lose to Kansas City, beat Denver, lose to Philly. If they can go 3-3, because we see how much better the schedule gets for them after the bye. So if they're at 3-3 going into that bye week, then they got the Giants, the Chargers, the Raiders. All of those are winnable, whether they go 2-1 or 3-0. So I just think if they're 3-3 going into the bye, they're in good shape.
Yeah, so let me tell you about a hot start. So I had a hot start. I experienced a hot start with a former Green Bay quarterback, and you better have a hot finish too.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a hot finish, then you're looking for real estate. So, yeah, for a team that hasn't won anything in a long time and doesn't really know how to deal with success, and now there's all these expectations, to be able to come out and have some success early would be huge, and they would build significant momentum. And I think they have a chance to come out and surprise a lot of these teams. Like, I don't see it as splitting this or splitting that. They may be 4-0, after the Kansas City game.
Yeah. Coach, I'm liking what I'm hearing.
And then, maybe they just roll right through to the bye week. But I do think there is real value for being able to have a good start, especially for a team that hasn't done anything in so long, to create some momentum and to be able to build on that. And it's a young team. There's a lot of things that can help them a lot if they're able to do that.
So, listen, I'm not going to act like I think 3-3 is impossible. I think it's a touch optimistic, but it's obviously in play. The problem is this. A great start, I believe to be impossible. I know Coach said they can beat Kansas City. No, they can't. The idea that they're just going to go to Dallas and win, I don't agree with that. So I think on the spectrum of outcomes, terrible start or amazing start, terrible start is so much more likely. 2-4 is honestly, because of how their schedule ends, is from a schedule perspective recoverable. But and evidently this is how we're judging teams this year, from a vibes perspective, it would be a killer brew. And from a momentum perspective.
You don't think they can be 3-0 going into Kansas City?
No. Why? I don't think they're gonna win it.
For sure.
Why do you think that outmatched by any of those first 3 teams?
I don't think they're as good as Buffalo. I don't think they are as good as Dallas. And while I think they're better than the Patriots, there is something to be said for the fact that Belichick has beaten them 14 consecutive games. And I do think it is worth noting that last year they did win 7 games. Now, they lost 6 in a row. So all their great young players are on the 3rd longest losing streak in football right now. But what is also true is that if there's 17 games last year, they beat 2 starting quarterbacks, Josh Allen and the guy who is now their starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And so, do I think this defense is going to look like a top 3 defense in week 1 against Buffalo, week 2 against Dak and the Cowboys, week 4 against Kansas City? I don't.
3.
Well, week 3 they could look good defensively, but they could lose and look good. You know what I mean? The Patriots offense doesn't play well against the Jets, but they still have won. I think the defense is good. I don't know that, again, we're going to have to, at some point in predictions week, say who the top 5 defenses are. Because there's going to be 7 teams that people call top 5 defense that are not listed in the top 5.
That's fair. Okay. That's all. Coming up next, Trey Lance to Dallas. Is Dak upset? A little bit. A little bit.
Is he?
Next up, first things first. A little bit.
Okay.
That's why he's calling the plays.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.